I mean, that's
You know the
part
story
of
of
life.
Winston Churchill? Do we tell that story on the air? Winston Churchill is one of the most incredible stories I've ever heard. We all know that he saved the free world and everything else. Do you know what his childhood was like? His childhood was a nightmare. His childhood involved a father who used to literally say around him, not to him, around him, that boy's retarded. Mm-hmm. And finally, would not talk to Winston. And Winston was starving for father's attention. And one day, Winston has set up all these toy soldiers because he wanted to be in the army. He set up all these toy soldiers, and he laid out this whole battle on the ground in his room. And his father finally comes in and looks at it and spends about an hour asking questions. Looks at it and says, "So, Winston, you want to be in the army?" "Oh, father, more than ever." Turns around and walks out. Next day, Winston finds out that his father has enrolled him in a military college to get the retarded kid out of the house. His father used to go and do speaking engagements and stuff all around this college or this military school for kids. Dad never visited. If you read the letters of Winston Churchill, he's like, "Dad, please, you're right here. Just come by. I want to show you the campus. I want to show you what's going on." Never responded. His father gives him a pocket watch when he's a kid. And about the time Winston Churchill is, 18 or 20, he's out on a bridge, and he's going to college, and he's out on this bridge, and some chums bump into him, and he drops the pocket watch into this stream. And so he immediately jumps off the bridge, goes in the stream, tries to find the pocket watch, can't. Goes back, gets a bunch of guys to help him dredge the stream. Can't find it. Then goes and decides to divert the stream. So he digs a ditch around this stream and around the bridge, then builds a dam, diverts the water around it, dredges again, goes and looks all through it, finally finds this pocket watch. Well, it's been destroyed because it's wet. He sends it to London to a watch repairman, has it all fixed and repaired, puts it back into his pocket, gets it back, puts it back in the pocket, and decides, "I feel guilty for not telling my father what happened." Now, if you hear that story, what do you say to your son?
I mean, it's amazing. I can't believe you went through all that trouble. I mean, you
Good
didn't
for
have
you.
to do that.
Well done. One of the most responsible men ever. Mm-hmm. His father said, "This is why you'll always fail. You're not responsible with things in the first place." Just rips his head off. This letter is incredible. Rips his head off. Ends it with, "Your mother says hello." Now, what does Winston Churchill do with all of that? His whole life, his father has said, "You're retarded. You'll never amount to anything. You'll never do it." Winston Churchill does not get angry or hate his father. He's sad for his father in the end, but delivers a great eulogy at his father's funeral and says good things about his father. Doesn't hate him, but takes it as motivation of, "I can do it. I will do it." Now, when he grows up, you have to remember Winston Churchill, he becomes a military leader and a bad one. And then he goes into Parliament and they run him out of town. He's rejected again. And why? Because he's the one saying, "You know what? Guys, they're building an army. They're going to try to conquer the whole world. Well, let's pay attention. Germany, really bad. Because of World War I, nobody wants to hear him." So both sides, including his own party, run him out of town. Now think of that life. Think of what he has done. He's part of the Navy when in World War I, when what's his face Wilson tells him he has to sink all of the ships as part of the treaty. He has to sink all of the ships. The greatest Navy ever, and he has to sink it. Then he's rejected when he warns about trouble on the horizon. He was really born for that one period of time. That's what he was born for. And he never stopped working toward it, even though he didn't know what he was supposed to do or when it was going to be his time. But it was that window of World War II. And what's tragically sad is when that window was closed, he started speaking out against communism. And what did the people in England do? Ran him out again. "Oh, you are such a worrywart. Communists are bad." Live for the moment. Don't get twisted. I really think that it is. I think the line is, can you go it alone? Are you willing to be the pariah? Are you willing to be laughed at? Are you willing to be mocked? Are you willing to have people tell you it can't be done? You try to do it and then live with the consequences, because maybe it can't be done. Maybe it can't.